Okay, hi, my name is Layla and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about signs that you have not made peace with your past. So I wrote down 7 bullet points. So if you see me looking down, it's because I need to remember what I wrote. But there are many more signs, but I think these are the major signs in my opinion. So I'm going to start by listing down the signs, and then we will get into what to do, what to do to make peace with your past and the ways that you can take to not only help yourself on this journey called life, but hopefully help others who you see are in the same predicament if this is not your story, right? So, number one, you keep replaying events in your mind. So, this could be traumatic events, it could be, childhood wounds, it could be a breakup, it could be something that someone said. You will keep replaying it in your mind over and over again. That is a very, very clear sign that you are still living in the past and that you really have not made peace with your past. So take note of that. Number two is it's all you talk about, and you get emotional when you talk about it. So this is a bit tricky because I do believe that talking about things that have happened to you in your life is very important. I think it's actually therapeutic. But when it kind of becomes the center of your universe and it's all you can talk about, and when you talk about it you have the same emotion you had when it first happened, um that's really dangerous. So that's something to really look out for, because then it's showing you that you have not really healed from that situation, because it's still one of the ways to know, just side note, one of the ways to know you're over something in your past or you've moved forward in your life is when you're able to talk about something that used to make you like boohoo cry, and like you're laughing or like you're making jokes about it. That's how you know, like, honey, you were good. Like you were past it and you're over it. So when you find yourself still choked up when you talk about something, that's a clear indication that you are not over. I had to just check if my camera was still recording. But yeah, that's a clear sign that you're not over whatever that situation is or was, right? Another clear sign is people's words still hurt you. Like, let's say you hear people talk about you or who you were in the past, like it still gets to you, gets you emotional. Or even if they make up a rumor about you, you still get hurt because you're still connected to the person you once were. You're still living in the past. You're still living in who you were, the mistakes that you made. So when people make comments surrounding things that you used to do or things that you were once connected to, it hurts your feelings because you still have not made peace with it. You still have not made peace with that part of your life, and you're kind of still living in it. So God forbid someone makes a comment about it, it hurts your feelings, and you just go down the spiral of rethinking about the events, as we mentioned in number one. So number four is you have a hard time trusting people. This is the area for me. Like, I was able to get over everything and move on and really get over like my past and everything like that. But one thing that was really difficult for me was to now trust. Like, I'm someone who naturally does not open up. Like, I'm very, very private. Like, my family will tell you that. My friends will tell you that. So when I open up and then I get hurt, like, it's hard for me to like open up again. So that's a clear indication. If you have a really difficult time trusting people, it's not that you just have trust issues. Like, trust issues don't just come out of nowhere. It's hurt, it's pain, it's past things that have made you become this person. And one of the things God really had to work on me was being vulnerable and being like, vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is actually the ability to know your strength and say, you know what, I know my strength and I know that I could potentially be hurt, but I'm still going to be vulnerable because what I'm saying does not define me, and whether or not this person reciprocates whatever I'm giving, I know who I am, and I know that I'm still going to be okay. That's strength. Pride is weakness, being prideful. And that's something I struggled with for a long time, was I thought being prideful was strength, because I was like, no one's going to hurt me again. I'm not going to go through pain I went through in my past. So I'm going to be prideful. But no, pride is weakness, because really, pride is a clear indication of fear. You're fearful, you're scared. That's why you're prideful. So if you see yourself having a hard time trusting people, even people that are good to you, that's a clear indication that you have not made peace with your past. You are still holding on to certain things, okay? So number 5 is kind of connected to number 4. It's you're easily triggered. This right here, sorry for my smacking, I'm real ghetto. Like, I can go real ghetto real quick, so please forgive me. Let me come back to being professional. But yeah, you're triggered very easily. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say your mom used to really yell at you, or your dad used to really yell at you, and now you're a grown person, and then you go into a relationship and then someone yells at you and you go off the handles. And it's not because that person is yelling at you, it's because they have touched a wound that you have not healed from. You were constantly yelled at as a child and you felt like your voice was not heard, and now you're in a relationship and someone does the same thing and you take it out on them, and the person is completely confused, because to them it's like, I didn't even mean to upset you. But what they don't know is that they're triggering and they're poking at a wound that's already there. So that is a very clear indication you're triggered, you're easily triggered. And I have to say, just a side note for us women, if you've been in a situation where even men, yeah, I'll say men too, like if you've been in a situation where you've been taken advantage of, you are easily triggered, you are very cautious, you are actually fearful of men or women, depending on who took advantage of you as a child. So that will be the situation. I'm tempted to give an example because I feel it like on my spirit. So I'll give you guys an example. When I first started my healing journey before I came to Christ, this was like 2018, like a year before I came to Christ. And I remember I was in college and I was at I went to go use the restroom. But what I didn't know was that while I was using the restroom, a janitor came in. He was a male, he was very tall, he was a big guy. And he came in and I literally froze. I froze, guys. I froze like a child, and I looked at him and I literally like started to shake, and I looked at him and I said, can I leave? And he looked at me like, yeah, like, why are you asking me for permission? And as soon as I left, I just started bawling. I just started crying, and I didn't understand what just happened to me and why I was so scared. But then, like, after some time, I realized that, like, in that moment, it was the little girl in me that didn't feel safe, that didn't feel protected, that felt, that went through a really tough time. And I talked to my mom about it and how it made me feel, and she comforted me, and she reminded me how, like, we all go through these things where you are so afraid but you don't know why you're afraid. But when you really look at the picture, it's not what's being done right now that is hurting you or that is scaring you or that is triggering you. It's something from your past that is creeping up on you. So we are like walking adults, but really children who are still dealing with the trauma of our past. And I think that's why I felt it was so important to make this video, because if you do not deal with the things that happened to you in the past, you will not move forward. You will not fully flourish into the person you're supposed to be. Like, so really keep that in mind. So yeah, like, you're easily triggered. That was number 5. Number 6, I love this one. I love this one because, yeah, I can relate. You're angry. Like, you're just a ball of anger. Like, you go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, things irritate you easily. Things get you angered very, very easily. And you always want to take matters into your own hands. Like, if someone does you dirty, you're just like, you know what, I'm going to get you back. And I can't believe, like, you're just a ball of anger. That's the best way I can describe it. And that actually is the clearest indication that there's something you have not made peace with, you have not dealt with from your past. Because anger, when you're angry about something, it's not that thing that you're actually angry about. It's you're being triggered. Once again, as I mentioned on number 5, is you're being triggered. So that anger is not an anger that is happening because someone used your water bottle or someone, cut you off. No, it's something that is there from your past that is triggering you to react the way you're reacting. So that is number 6. And then we have our last one. And this is the clearest indication that you have not made peace with your past. You have not dealt with things from your past. And that is, you keep repeating the same patterns and you keep repeating the same mistakes. Year after year after year, you will find yourself in the same type of situations with different people, but same situations. So, I don't really feel like I need to give an example for this. I think we all have that one pattern that we just keep going through over and over and over again. And God will allow you to stay in that. He will allow you to keep going through the same pattern over and over again until you actually learn and you actually surrender everything to Him. So now let's get into what to do. Like, how do you let go? Like, how do you make peace with your past? Like, one of the best things you can do is accept the mistakes. If there are mistakes that you've made, if there are decisions that you took that you are not proud of today, know that the only reason why you can view those mistakes now and think critically and say, you know what, I could have done better, is because of the knowledge you have now. And the knowledge you have now is because of the mistakes you made then. So you have to understand that it's all connected. What happened needed to happen to make you who you are today. Was it necessary? Y'all, just gonna wait for the cop car to just pass. Okay, back to the video. What was I saying? Listen, y'all, my memory is just, Lord help me. Repeating the same patterns. I know that's what I was saying, and repeating the same mistakes, but I just really lost my train of thought. Anyways, you're gonna keep repeating the same mistakes. No, I had already talked about that. Oh yeah, I was talking about forgiving yourself for the mistakes that you made, and understanding that the knowledge that you have now is because of the things that you did then. And making peace with your past does not necessarily mean that you look at the things that you did and you're like, I'm proud of that. No, but you also should not be ashamed of it, because somehow it pushed you, it catapulted you into becoming the person you are today. So, and if you are not the person you want to be, then take the things that you've done, take the mistakes that you've made, and choose to become a better person, choose to become a better man, right? And then the other thing is trauma. When it comes to trauma, there's only one healer. I can tell you all the medicine that you can take and all the therapy that you can go to, but I believe that the greatest healer is God. That's my belief. The greatest healer is God. Like, I tried to go do all these other things and meditate and all this stuff, all this new age stuff. I tried that. It doesn't work. It works temporarily. It brings you peace temporarily, but God's peace is constant. Even in the ups, even in the downs, you have His peace. He is the greatest healer. No one can heal you the way He can. No one can see you. I need to pause for that. No one can see you the way God sees you. There is a way He sees you that no one else will ever be able to see you, because you are transparent in front of Him. And despite the fact that you're transparent in front of Him and that you have all of these flaws, He still loves you enough to want to heal you, to want to make you whole. And that is the greatest gift, So giving your trauma to God, that is something that is really important in this process. Sharing your testimony. Like, if you've gone through things in your past that have been difficult, share it with others so they know that they're not alone, so they know that they can get through this as well, and that they're not they're not experiencing this difficulty on their own. You know, oftentimes, I always mention it in my videos, the enemy likes to isolate us and make us think that what we go through is just, it's just us. We're just going through this individually. But no, it's a lot of people are going through a lot of similar things. They might be different, but there's a lot of similarities. And then, yeah, get new knowledge. Listening to videos, listening to people, listening to the right people. You got to be careful about what you let in your ear. But listening to the right people, getting new knowledge, reading the word, meditating on God's word, learning more. That is always, knowledge is power, the right knowledge. Because you can get the wrong kind of knowledge, if you know what I'm saying. And then understand that people will always talk. I think this is something that a lot of people don't get, but you need to understand that people will always talk, whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad, whether you're doing worse, whether you're doing amazingly. Like, people will always talk, and the sooner you make peace with that, the more peaceful you will be, you know. One of my favorite verses is, if God be for us, who can be against us? Like, if you got God on your team, come on, like, you're already on the winning team. And if you're not on God's team yet, you're missing out, because it's real cool over here. It's real nice, because it's real ghetto outside. So I'm gonna need you guys to come in on this side, because all jokes aside, God, when God has your back, it's the most amazing feeling in the world. So get on the winning team. And then the last thing is, keep going. Keep going. Don't let your past hold you back. Don't let past mistakes, don't let things that people did. Trust me, we all have a story. And you could think that, no, Layla, you don't understand. My story is very difficult. I went through a lot. People did this, people did that. You know what? Even then, God was with you. Even then, God saw you. And He wants to heal you. He wants to. God is a healer. And He wants to heal you. He doesn't want you living in the past. Like, there's so much life to live. There's so much to look forward to. If you're not dead, there's a lot to look forward to. So I hope this video blessed you. And I will see you in the next one.